Hi and welcome to another of Dena Tollefson's art challenges. This time it's our favorite fish, and that's a tough one for me because I have a very significant interest and history with fish. And yeah, I chose this one. It's known in most of the world as an aquarium fish. In English it's called clown bocha, and it's originally coming from Indonesia, from the rivers in Borneo and, yeah, another island I forgot. And they have done a lot of research into the population of the fish and their biology and stuff. So all the botias, the clown loaches that you get in the fish stores are all wild caught because they don't breed well in captivity. They have to be about 20 years old or so and a foot long before they start breeding. So they have very strict conservative laws in Indonesia that you can only catch them when they're about 4 centimeters long, and then can't catch the large breeding adults. So, if you have tried to breed them in a fish tank and had no success, don't worry, you are not alone. You need old fish for that. So, yeah, and I decided to do this as a lino cut because I want to make a little bit of a flock of them. They live in flocks in nature, and they have this interesting trait where you can see they got uh, drawn three dark bands. They're black in life. Sometimes those bands are not perfect. They might not reach all the way over on one side. And if you have a flock with a dominant leader, because they pick one as a leader, or it pick itself, um, that has an imperfection in its markings over a span of time, a year or two or more, all the others in the flock will have the same marking on them, so they match up over time. So I thought it would be funny to make a stamp. I don't know, Lino cuttings is not really meant for stamps, but it worked in this case. And then make a flock that is kind of identical. So yeah, um, Lino cut is coming back in fashion, if you didn't know. And I have been picking up a little bit of supplies that doesn't cost a whole ton to start. I think the most expensive thing I got for this was my brayer. I actually had one brayer already because I've been doing decoupage a long time ago, and you will see that later, the brayer for that. So, but I needed one for ink, and then I needed one to roll the paper on. So here I'm getting a sharp knife to cut it out. It's not the normal way to do lino cut, but uh, I wanted to make multiple prints on one piece of paper. So here I am, and it took some muscle there to get it out to cut the threads on the back and cut all the way through it. I bought this gray linoleum that is not as hard as the brown, so I could cut this without heating it up. If you use the old-fashioned brown linoleum, you might have to have some kind of a heated plate or a good heat tool to soften it a bit so you can cut in it. This is so soft that it was easy. So here it looks a little rough around the edges, so I'm gonna trim it with a pair of scissors. And just to smoothen it up. I like the why I got into the linoleum again was because I was going through some old boxes and I found some old lino cuts that I did as a teenager and a kid. I was thinking, oh yeah, I actually like the look of prints. And I had a visit planned to an art store. Actually, I tried to order a starter set on Amazon, but the seller, which wasn't Amazon, it was just an affiliate, messed that order up entirely, so it never arrived. But I picked up some stuff when I was at that art store in Germany. So here's my print, and I did some test prints on rice paper. I cut out that whole section because otherwise the video would be too long. But that's why it's black here. It was because I had tested it out, and that was the red brayer there is the one I use for inking it up. And you might want to ink it over a couple of times. And I use rice paper, and this is my clean brayer. And ink it up again. And yeah, I've sped this video up a lot because otherwise it would be super long and also super boring. So we got two now. Ink it again. The ink I'm using is Aqua Linodruck from Schmincke, and it has the benefit that it is water soluble. It's super easy to clean my inking plate and my brayer and anything else that come into contact with that ink. Um, I believe I had to use turpentine back in the day with the oil base. Yeah, those overlapped a little bit, but that's okay. They swim close to each other. And I'm not aiming for total perfection here. And the last one I want to place right, so you can do it the other way too. So we got 5. I'll let it dry. And now return it on the other side because rice paper has this property where you can paint it on the back. You can paint it on both sides actually. And I'm mixing up an orange here because these fish are orange on their body and they have red fins. And it's a little special to paint on this rice paper I bought because you can see how the colors bleed out and I didn't want them to bleed out too much. So it was a little bit of a challenge to figure out how wet my paint, my brush should be. And if you want to know what that is actually a little bowl that was meant for soy sauce if you make sushi and stuff. But it works perfect as a miniature palette. And here we go for the red color on the fins, and it's a vermilion red. And it was too wet there. It bleeds out like crazy. So we'll fix that later a little bit. And if you notice that one that I just painted the tail off, that's where the overlap is. And actually the males can be a little red around their mouth. So that came out quite okay. And by painting it here on the back side, I avoid that the ink that I used bled out too much. I tested this out on some of the test prints that I showed you earlier. And if I put the paint on the same side as the ink, then it has a tendency to bleed out and muddy up the colors. but it works better when I paint the colors on the backside. If it's too wet and too close, it can still start bleeding, but not too bad. Here I'm just loosely putting some colors so we have sort of a background. And the colors I'm using is from Kuretake. It's the new Art Nouveau set that I managed to get on a good sale. So here's the final product. Um, I hope you will go and watch the playlist for this and Dena Tollefson's amazing channel. And here I'm gonna just fix up that massive red bleed there. But it's always fun to do these challenges, and thank you again, Dana, for the challenge. This was a tough one. It took me a long time to decide on a fish. I had planned to do more fish, but things came in the way. We have had a busy late summer here. So thank you all for watching. Please like, subscribe, and come back. I'll promise to do something more. Bye.